Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today? I was sitting downstairs and I was talking to General Kulkarni and Ashok sir, and then they said that the room on this side is more engaged. And I said, no, room on this side is more engaged. And we said that we had a bet that, we will make some noise by clapping our hands and we will see which side of the room is more engaged. So, yeah, let's have this competition. This side, now this side. Again, last time, this side and this side. I think both sides are equally engaged. Congratulations, well done. Happy to see the engagement happening in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be talking to you about reimagining education in the era of AI. And I am so happy that I would be speaking in front of two institutions sitting right here, General Kulkarni and Ashok Pandey sir, who have very kindly taken out time to be with us. Really appreciate it that you are here. Before I start, I want to ask a question. How many of us are afraid of AI? How many of us think that AI is going to take away our jobs? Happy to see that. AI is here, and AI is changing the world faster than ever before. Let me take you through a journey of the world. We were very sectorial worldwide. We liked living in small towns. We wanted to have our farming, our small shops, etc. And then after World War II, what happened was that we started developing cities. These cities had good houses, suburbs, factories, and when people would come back from factories and offices, they would spend time with their families, talking to each other. They would sit in the balconies and they would interact with the neighbors. What happened in the 70s and 80s was an element came into all our lives, which was the television. So people moved out from their balconies, talking to their neighbors, and they moved inside, started focusing on the idiot box. And what happened that we became a little apprehensive of our neighbors. We stopped talking to our neighbors. What we started doing was we started mistrusting and our kids stopped playing on the streets. You would have seen, right? 80s, 90s, that era where we stopped sending our kids outside or sending our kids to our neighbors. That eventually led to a lot of fear also in the schools, where we started asking questions of the schools that, is my child safe enough? And then we thought that the engagement at home is through television. We put the television screens in the schools as well. Those screens became smaller, and then we started blaming everything on this smaller screen, which is a mobile phone, and this became our enemy. And then we started talking about as to how the world changed, and in the last 20 years, the world has changed at least 3 times over. Once when the social media exploded, then when the unfortunate event of COVID-19, and then on 8th of November 2022, when Sam Altman talked about ChatGPT and the world changed all, for good. Our schools also faced a lot of change because of that. Our schools realized that the rate of change which happened from the 1940s to the 2000s, it took almost 60, 70 years. In 20 years, the world changed 3 times over. As educators, I want you to reflect on it. Did our schools, did our classrooms change as fast? Did we understand as to what the changes are required in us as pedagogical leaders, as teachers? Did we understand that? So, when schools test us, when you and I teach only answers, we're talking about the past. But when we develop curiosity in students, we are thinking about the future. Ladies and gentlemen, when you think about the future and when you think about AI, don't just think about what tools. Don't just think about what are the technological changes that you need in your schools, in your classrooms, in yourselves, but think about as to how the purpose of education is now changing. We don't need to test students on knowledge anymore. We need to test them on what kind of curiosity and what kind of human beings are they becoming. That is the biggest challenge that lies ahead for all educators and all of humanity. Yeah, so in the 1940s and 50s, 60s, knowledge was rare. You and I as teachers, we had all the knowledge, the books, the repository of knowledge, and these were pretty much the standard of everything. There was so much focus on marks. Has that focus changed? Well, I pulled up these pictures and I also used AI to generate, just to trigger you to think about this. Have we changed as our classrooms? We have the same classroom features happening today as it was happening in the 1950s. The difference in all of this is that the AI-generated picture has students smiling. The other pictures don't have the students smiling in the classrooms. This has also not changed. The circle time that we all cherish so much in the junior grades, has it changed? The world has changed, but have our classrooms changed? Have our schools changed? Have the report cards changed? We still grade students exactly like this. This is a picture from the 1950s. The personalized learning that a lot of us actually are looking forward to. This has been there. In India, we talk very proudly of our Gurukul system, and unfortunately, that declined. And I'm so happy that we are focusing so much on our sanskar and Sanskriti. This used to be there. Even the annual day format from the 1950s has pretty much remained. Yeah, these are the labels that we've always given to the students. This is what we want our children to be. We want them to be 100% marks, a sports star, a coder, an influencer, participate in MUNs and debates. We want them to have passion, they have holistic learning, they should have a visionary thought process, knowledgeable. Has this changed? Because we need to change ourselves for the future, because we don't really know what we are preparing the students for. This is from World Economic Forum, which talks about the jobs of the future, the careers of the future will not be with the hard skills. They will be very much with the other skills, analytical thinking, resilience, flexibility, teamwork, leadership. These are the skills that we are looking forward to for a world of 2030, 2035. In the morning, the CBSE director was here. Dr. Saha was talking about that whatever decisions we make in the next sort of 10, 12 years would define the world for the next 100 years. This is what we need to focus on in our classrooms, in our schools. And AI can help us focus on these as well, because they will be your support system at the schools for learning. Yeah. At many of the forums I've said this, that AI has liberated us as human beings from knowledge. Now, it's time for us as individuals to liberate our schools from marks. And this is what we need to do. Why are we testing students on rote, on learning, on memorizing from textbooks, when we can learn a lot about them through various other tools? Do I have those answers? I don't think I do. Does anyone have those answers? I think we are all a work in progress, because the world is now still understanding as to what it can be. Yeah. Zoom out. These have been the delta moments, as I said. We've not changed this part, but we've replaced the screens. We've made sure that these screens are there everywhere, and for some reason, we are calling them the enemy. I genuinely believe we should not throw the baby with the bathwater. Try retain, try educate students as to how these can be a better fix for everything that we do. So the elephant in the room. Is AI the villain? Or is something that needs to be done with us? Well, I strongly believe that we need to not only just reimagine tech, we need to reimagine schools with the children. Reimagine your schools as thinking studios. Thinking studios that would have growth albums. Skill constellation. Instead of examinations, have learning exhibitions, courage portfolios, where we allow students to showcase their failures and learn from them. Stores of all their memories going forward. But more than that, please allow students to breathe. Don't expect every superhero to have every possible skill. They might fly. Like Batman, they might be very innovative. But allow them, each and every one, to breathe. Education is not about knowing, it's about becoming. Ladies and gentlemen, change the ways as to how we operate schools. Think about as to how technology can improve it, how AI has already come into your lives, and don't make education transactional. We should focus as to how we can make our schools schools of choice. Thank you for doing, educators, for all that you do. I'm around and I'd be happy to talk to you all. Thank you so much.
Can we all clap, please? That's a good sound. Thank you. So we have the partner presentations if the partners are here ready. So we'll switch to that.